The NFL landscape is ever-changing, with new names coming in to prove themselves while washed-up guys play on their last legs before ultimately retiring.
When you're 31 and you can run it like Alvin Kamara, but he's not going to have nearly as many touches when Travis Etienne shows up.
We're going to take a look at 5 no-names who will make a name for themselves in the 2026 season and 5 big-name guys who will regress. Will be a big name? Jaylen Naylor. After being in the shadows of both Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison, Naylor signed a 3-year, $35 million deal with the Las Vegas Raiders as they look to utilize him in their offensive schemes for this upcoming 2026 season. Even after being behind Addison and Jefferson in the depth chart, Naylor had a breakout season, catching 29 receptions for 444 yards and scoring 4 touchdowns. Although Naylor hasn't had a 1,000-yard season yet, he's incredibly dependable with his reliable hands, as he can get first downs or touchdowns when throwing the ball. Naylor reunites with Kirk Cousins, who was his teammate on the Vikings for 2 seasons, and should flourish quite nicely under head coach Clint Kubiak's and offensive coordinator Andrew Janako's system. Don't be surprised to see Naylor further gain strong yardage statistically and score more touchdowns as a member of the Silver and Black, and be a safety blanket for either Cousins or rookie Fernando Mendoza. Will do nothing? Baker Mayfield. Although it's been exciting to see Mayfield play with the Buccaneers, he may continue to regress during 2026, as exemplified during the team's second half of 2025. During the 2025 season, Mayfield sustained an injury to his non-throwing shoulder in a Week 12 matchup against the Los Angeles Rams, which impacted his performance down the stretch. Mayfield enters the 2026 season in the final year of his 3-year, $100 million extension, as the Bucs front office hasn't indicated whether they'll extend him beyond the 2026 season. The Bucs offense lost Mike Evans to free agency as he signed a 3-year, $42.4 million deal with the San Francisco 49ers, forcing Emeka Egbuka and Chris Godwin to further step it up on offense during the season. On top of that, Mayfield will have his 4th straight offensive coordinator and former Atlanta Falcons offensive coordinator Zach Robinson, who's replacing Josh Grizzard, who was fired by the team after the 2025 season. Learning a new scheme on the fly each and every year is not easy, and Mayfield could also be impacted by early inconsistencies learning the new offensive playbook. Will be a big name? Jordan Tyson. Drafted with the number 8 pick of the 2026 NFL Draft, Tyson looks to make a huge impact on the Saints offense by providing Tyler Shuck a durable and versatile offensive weapon for the 2026 season. Tyson will fit very nicely in head coach Kellen Moore's and offensive coordinator Doug Nussmeier's systems when the 2026 season kicks off. He lines up perfectly on both the boundary and the slot, making him versatile, like a Swiss Army knife. Not to mention, Tyson received mentorship from former Pittsburgh Steelers wide receiver Hines Ward, who's currently the Sun Devils associate head coach and wide receivers coach. So despite enduring injuries during his collegiate career, Tyson will be a game changer for the Saints, who are looking to pair him with Chris Olave, making for a very powerful 1-2 punch on offense. Will do nothing? James Conner. Conner likely is going to do nothing during the 2026 season, as the Cardinals will shift their attention to newly drafted running back Jeremiah Love with the 3rd pick of the 2026 NFL Draft. Conner is 31, which is kinda old for running backs, so he'll likely see a decline in his production during the 2026 season. Not to mention, Conner suffered a brutal foot injury during Week 3 of the 2025 season against San Francisco 49ers and was replaced by Trey Benson. Bouncing back from the surgery is going to be incredibly tough at Conner's age. Conner's revised contract for older players also reflect an expected reduction in playing time as the team transitions to Love, who will likely take most of the offensive snaps in the team's backfield during the regular season. It'd be great to see Conner get traded to a title contender where he would at least have a shot at being a part of a Super Bowl winning team before he eventually retires. Will be a big name? Chris Rodriguez Jr. Even though the Jaguars looked incredibly silly not drafting a running back in the 1st or 2nd rounds of the 2026 NFL Draft, they did sign Chris Rodriguez Jr., who is coming off a breakout season with the Washington Commanders, with 500 rushing yards on 112 attempts and scoring 6 touchdowns in 2025. Rodriguez Jr. signed a small 2-year, $10 million deal, which is an absolute steal for the Jaguars, as he provides the team with elite physicality with his hard-nosed downhill running style. Rodriguez Jr. will reunite with head coach Liam Cohen, who was his offensive coordinator at the University of Kentucky in 2021 when he rushed for 1,378 yards on 225 attempts and scored 10 touchdowns for the Wildcats under Cohen's watch.
I do love Cohen's offense that he ran. The outside zone, Everybody always asks me what's my favorite play, outside zone.
Despite being underutilized in the NFL, Rodriguez Jr. is incredibly efficient, averaging 4.6 yards per carry during his time at the Commanders and was reliable in forcing missed tackles. Rodriguez Jr. has the opportunity to shine and replace Travis Etienne Jr. as the team's main running back for the 2026 season and become the Jaguars' early down hammer and goal line back. If all goes according to plan, the Jaguars may have found themselves their new premier running back in Rodriguez Jr. Will do nothing. Alvin Kamara. Similar to James Conner, Kamara is also a running back who will be 31 when the season kicks off, and, well, they aren't getting any younger. With the Saints signing Travis Etienne Jr. on a 4-year, $52 million deal, Kamara's workload will see a huge reduction, as the team will turn their attention to Etienne Jr. Kamara's production already saw a steep decline, as he averaged a career-low 3.6 yards per carry, rushed for 471 yards on 131 attempts, and scored 1 rushing touchdown in 11 games. Kamara took a pay cut with the Saints, as he'll go from making $11.5 million guaranteed to $6 million guaranteed. Kamara also saw a massive decline in his receiving stats as he caught 33 receptions for 186 yards and scored no touchdowns. It also didn't help that Kamara dealt with an MCL sprain in Week 12 against the Atlanta Falcons that ended his season. At this point, the Saints should probably just trade Kamara to a championship contender. Who knows, maybe like the Denver Broncos or Seattle Seahawks. At the very least, he'll be able to provide some veteran leadership for those teams. Will be a big name? Isaac Tesla. Tesla is projected to break out in 2026, stepping into the Lions' number 3 wide receiver role with Khalif Raymond jumping ship and signing with the Chicago Bears during the 2026 offseason. Tesla played in all 17 games and started in 3 of them, catching 16 receptions for 239 yards and scoring 6 touchdowns in the 2025 season. Tesla provides Jared Goff with a big-bodied vertical and red zone threat who complements Amon-Ra St. Brown and Jameson Williams in the team's passing attack. Not to mention, Tesla received praise from wide receivers coach Scotty Montgomery, who discussed his improved strength and athleticism, making him someone to be excited about before the start of kickoff. Tesla should work well with the Lions offensive coordinator Drew Petzing, who will likely get the best out of him and the rest of the Lions offense heading into the 2026 season. If Tesla continues to improve, don't be surprised if the Lions decide to sign him to a nice contract extension in a year or two. Will do nothing. Jaylen Johnson. Johnson may see some serious regression in the 2026 season due to lingering durability concerns, multiple injuries, and surgeries that ended up limiting him to 7 games during the 2025 season. Johnson dealt with a groin injury during the beginning of the 2025 season, and groin injuries carry a high re-injury rate in the NFL. The Bears' defense has been a major focal point of concern heading into the 2026 season, and Johnson and the team's secondary heavily rely on the pass rush to speed up and put the pressure on opposing quarterbacks. Without that, it'll put more pressure on Johnson and the secondary, who will have to hold coverage for an unsustainable amount of time. Johnson and the Bears' secondary entered the 2026 season with depth questions, as Kyler Gordon is also recovering from an injury-plagued 2025 season, while the safety room is revamped with guys like Kobe Bryant and rookie Dylan Thieneman. Johnson is 27 and is entering the later years of his career, and he's had significant mileage during his time, meaning his explosiveness and recovery time will likely wane during the regular season. Johnson has also seen a drop in his metrics, as he's currently at a 58.7 per Pro Football Focus, which ranks him 71st out of 114 cornerbacks. So, all that combined, it is not looking like Johnson is going to have a particularly strong 2026 season. Will be a big name? Chig Okonkwo. Okonkwo is expected to break out in the 2026 season, as he signed a 3-year, $30 million deal with the Washington Commanders, and he'll catch passes from Jayden Daniels, which will certainly benefit his explosive after-the-catch play style. Okonkwo ranks among the best in yards after catch situations, as he's typically in the top 15 of that category. Okonkwo is expected to absorb a lot of targets during the 2026 regular season, which was previously held by Zach Ertz, who was released during the 2026 offseason. Offensive coordinator David Blau gets a tight end who can fit his offensive scheme with ease due to Okonkwo's versatility, lining him up everywhere from the inline to the slot and into the motion. Now, they got a security blanket for the 2026 season. Will do nothing. Christian McCaffrey. McCaffrey is expected to regress and see a drop in his production due to being in his 30s, his historic and unpredictable workload, and the 49ers committing to reducing his snap count to keep him fresh. With McCaffrey entering his age 30 season, it's typically a sign to see a decline in their explosiveness, speed, and efficiency. You see, McCaffrey had a career-high 450 combined touches in the regular season and playoffs, which we likely won't see again in 2026, as running backs who average around 370 touches see a statistical decline. Head coach Kyle Shanahan publicly acknowledged that he and the 49ers plan to alleviate McCaffrey's workload in order to keep him fresh for the playoffs. They're going to try and get Jordan James and Kalen Black more snaps on offense during the regular season. McCaffrey's also a guy who's had a history of injuries throughout his playing career, which can and probably will come back to bite him at the wrong time in this season. Despite the injury history and the potential to struggle in his 30s, McCaffrey is still one of the greats who should help mentor James and Black nicely during this regular season. But hey, what no-names do you think will suddenly skyrocket into stardom this season? What big names do you think will have a sudden decline? Let us know in the comment section below. If you like this video and learned a thing or two, then hey, clicking the like button helps us out a ton. And you know, we really appreciate it. If this is your first time coming around to TPS though, then subscribing is a great idea because we put out videos like this every single day. But as always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.